Hey everybody, welcome back to Sacred Cow Barbecue. This is our final episode. And so I thought it was really important that we start with the Bundy Ranch and end with the other big story that Karen Smith introduced me to. It is just an amazing, disgusting situation in South Africa, and the media blackout of it is unacceptable. And so every chance I've had, I've liked to tell people what's going on in South Africa. So it's my pleasure to welcome Leigh Oxley DuPreez back to Sacred Cow Barbecue. She is the head of South African Family Relief Project. Leigh, welcome back to the barbecue.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's totally my pleasure. I know it's in the wee hours, and you've been up since 3. So tell us what's going on with South African Family Relief Project. I know you have a farm now, so tell us what's going on.
Yes, because of all the donations that we've been receiving, we decided to purchase land. And the reason for that is we want to rescue some of these families that have small little children out of these camps. The camp conditions are horrifying. Winter is setting in, and we want to start a self-sustainable project. We've got some wonderful donors across the world that would like to pay for the education and reskill these parents. Parents that have been nurses and welders and mechanics can't find any jobs anymore. So we want to teach them new skills so that they can run their own little business, because they won't be able to be employed because of the laws that have been put in place. And we want to make sure that they can look after their little families and help them, giving them a hand up instead of a hand out.
You know, one of the stories that I was sharing a week ago, I believe our friend Monica Stone sent it to me, and said that they were trying to encourage people that already have farms and are still farming to invite these families, to their farms to live and give them some of the land and things, one for security and others to get these people out of these camps.
Yes, we do have several farmers that have opened up their doors to the some of the families, so it is much safer for them on these farms. But in most cases, the farmers are also struggling. So yet again, they are left with having to put up their own type of structured house. And there are not, hardly any toilets, so they are left to fend for themselves. Some farmers do offer a little bit of work in their fields. So yes, we have had amazing farmers who have opened their doors, and that also helps with security, because security is a huge problem in South Africa on the farms at the moment.
Yes, and the shocking truth of farm murders cannot be ignored any longer. South Africa Today carried this story. I mean, farmers are still being murdered.
And in the most horrific ways. The torture that goes with these murders are horrifying. I mean, who in their right minds would take a drill and drill holes into a woman's body?
Oh,
It's unthinkable. I cannot wrap my brain around the torture. That to us is a hate crime, and you cannot compare the ordinary crimes that do take place in South Africa, and we have many black on black crimes. But when you look at the black on white crimes, the torture that goes with it is horrifying.
and that seems to be what they're really there for, is to
Yes,
torture
because
people.
they
They enjoy
hardly steal
the
anything.
home invasions. There to torture people for days on end before they finally die.
And that's the thing that absolutely brings us to our knees.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking, and more crosses are being added. It's unbelievable, the murder rate, and it's not just white farmers. that are being murdered.
Yes.
You're the
Yes.
murder and rape capital of the world.
Yes. Well, we have about, I stand corrected, but about 53 murders per day. But being a white farmer in South Africa, the murder rate is 133 to 100,000. And that is one of the highest murder rates in the entire world.
Yeah, it's a dangerous occupation to be a farmer. But in Leigh, I wouldn't be as outraged about this if the farms that the blacks have taken over at the government's largesse
Mhm.
were operating.
Uh,
But they
the,
destroyed many of them.
as soon as the farms are taken over, you can give it about 2 years. They sell all the implements, the crops die, they eat or sell all the animals. They strip the houses and the warehouses of every single thing that there might be, and within a 2-year period, there's absolutely nothing on that farm. They are not successful. They are failing dismally because they do not know how to farm.
That's pretty shocking. And yet they still want more of the land.
Because they believe that it is owed to them. They believe that having or owning land makes you rich. Whether you can cultivate that land is of no interest to them. It's about owning land. It's being previously disadvantaged, and it is owed to them.
Yeah, and nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, and older blacks will admit that they had it much better lives under white rule.
Yes, they had their own farmland. Oh, their own uh, homelands. They had beautiful hospitals, schools, um, universities. They had the best education, and yet it was just not good enough, and the world listened to the propaganda and lies. And yes, and this is where we are now today.
Well, I feel like South Africa is a template for the rest of the world. Look what's going on in Europe. Um,
Mhm.
and so without knowing what's going on here, I don't think we have any hope. We really, for some reason, whites are kind of stupid. I have to say, we're just not collective the way non-white groups are. Do you agree?
I do agree. There are so many divisions and so many different um, views on politics and race, and even in our situation, we are divided because some groups believe that a multicultural existence is viable, and yet others believe it is not.
Right. So on the plus side, Leigh, I know you are one of the hardest working women I know. I don't think I know any South African women that don't do the work of two men and a boy. What is it about you women? Hard workers.
Yes, we were born working hard. It is in our blood and in our nature. Um, I- when the Boer War was going on and the men wanted to give up, and they came home, the Boer woman chased them back to the war and said, "You will finish this war. You will not come back home until you have finished the war." And it's in our blood. We are hardworking. We love our families dearly, and we are not scared of doing the work ourselves. If there are no men around, we will plant, we will put fences up, we will carry water, we will um,
Do
stand
the
up.
heavy lifting.
Yes.
Well, I've always been amazed by the South African women I know, and you're no exception. So, Leigh, tell me what a typical day is like now on the farm, and where can people go and see pictures of what's happening at the farm?
They can go to our Facebook page. We have weekly updates on the farm project. The Facebook page is South African Family Relief Project. And go and like our page and you'll get automatic updates. They can also go to our website, www.safrpsa.org. A typical day on the farm is we get up real early. The heat is very bad at the moment. We can feel that autumn is setting in, so the mornings and your evenings are starting to get cooler. But we've got to get breakfast going. We do not have any electricity, so sometimes it's gas if we have money for gas in the bottle. Other times it's fire. And then we get our days started by digging holes for the fence that is coming up, clearing the land so that we can start putting down the foundations. We mix our concrete or cement by hand. We do not have a concrete mixer. Everything is very, very labor intensive. So it's
primitive conditions.
Yes, very, very primitive. So we use little small batteries with LED lighting, and we charge them on the generator. We have to go and pump water every day. Doing washing is a bit of a nightmare, but we get it done because we have to. You can't just go and lie down and not do anything. We are in the beginning of this project, but the men put in a shower, they put up the tank, they put up a toilet, they put up the sewage pipes. They've really been working hard, sunburned sometimes.
Yeah.
And we all came down with the flu this last week, but the work continues. And I believe so much in this project because I know that we're going to make such a huge difference in the lives of these folks. You know, you walk into these camps and you can see the little children already know that by looking sad, people are going to feel sorry for them. And we are creating a begging nation. And I want to give these people their dignity back. They've got to know that, yes, the government is against you. Yes, you are not being employed, but we can, as a little community on this farm project, assist each other and stand up again and be useful.
Leigh, when was the last time this farm was actually a working farm?
Oh, I would say about at least 10, 15 years ago.
And what type of produce did it produce?
They did peanuts. It was a peanut farm, and then they took out the peanuts and they did a grass, a type of grass that you put up roofs with.
Oh wow!
Yes, it's like a thick, long grass that they cut, and then they build a house and they put rafters on, and then they lay the grass. It's a grass roof, like which is a beautiful roof. It's very, very cool during the summer, and nice and warm in the winter times.
Yeah, I see them. That must be some of the ecology builder type people are drawn to.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So what are the types of crops that you're hoping to grow there?
Oh, vegetables. Luckily, we have vegetables that can grow in winter and summer. And we want to have chickens, the meat broilers, and your egg layers. We have been sponsored 2 Kalahari red goats, which is they are meat goats, and we want to do our own soaps, do our own preserves, make our own candles, really be completely self-sufficient, like feed ourselves.
It's in your genes. I know you can do it.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, I grew up with my grandparents from both sides, making foods for the winter, um, curry beans, things like that. That us poor South African people are used to, and that we can keep for the winter months when the crops are not that many, and also help and feed people in these camps, because I mean I will never stop helping these camp folks. They are so close and dear to my heart, and those deserving families we want to rescue, and they only stay for a year. After that year, we help to kick them out of the nest and integrate them back into society. We will still assist them where we can, but we want to take in the next 10 families. So it's going to be revolving every single year with another new 10 families, and the next year another 10 families. And by doing that, we will be able to help so many more than having them live here permanently.
Right, right. I can see that. That's a challenge though. That's
Oh yes,
but
huge.
I think it's a great plan that you've got. Now, Leigh, I want you to explain to people, because when I talk about South Africa, so many people just say, why don't they just leave? And they don't understand. So why don't you explain why people can't just leave?
Okay, the reason why people can't just leave is because um, you have to have lots of money. Getting a visa is not easy, and when you live in a squatter camp with hardly no food, absolutely no employment, you have to prove your ties to South Africa. And if you do not own property or have a constant income, your visa will never be granted.
Now, of
So,
course, if you're black and you tell people you have no money and that you
ye-
want refugee status, you get a plane ticket right out of there, don't you?
yes. But whites, you don't hear of whites seeking refugee status. And even if you do seek refugee status, because the United Nations doesn't acknowledge the slow genocide that is taking place in South Africa, and the rest of the world doesn't know what's going on here, refugee status is not really granted to white South Africans across the world.
Yeah, it's shocking to me. But I've even met people. I met some folks here in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and they were Rhodesians from Zimbabwe. I'm going to call them Rhodesians, and I asked them. They said we'd love to leave, but they have enough money to go on holiday, but the government won't issue them, papers to leave.
Yes. Because white South Africans especially pay the majority of the tax in South Africa.
Right, and so they can't lose their tax base. But aren't they? I mean, of all the
And yet and
people
yet
that
we
I
are
know,
being
foreigners that
killed.
I know more South Africans, in Hawaii and than I know, other people. So obviously people have left, before when it was easier.
There are so many families. Just the other day, of a few months ago, a man phoned me and he said, Leigh, we are immigrating, we're leaving South Africa. I have the last bit that we couldn't sell. Come and clear it out. You guys can have it for your project. And so we went there, and this man completely broke down, and he bawled like a baby, and he said, we have to leave, we are forced to leave. They raped my daughter and my wife while I was at work. They butchered them. And this
Oh,
man, and the hurt and the pain, the fact that he couldn't protect his little family. And they are selling up everything. There are countries apparently where you do not need a visa to go, but you have to have at least a certain amount of money. They sold what they could. and he sold his house for whatever he could, and they are leaving in droves. But the people in these camps cannot leave because they don't have even the funds to go on a little holiday in South Africa, let alone buy a plane ticket.
Right, and sometimes when people do, they make up stories about that their visa isn't real or isn't accurate and turn people back. Isn't that true?
That is so true. So many people have been deported back from airports because apparently they didn't apply for the correct visitor's visa or holiday visa, or and unfortunately that's how it is. You lose all that money and you lose your freedom. You know that you cannot leave South Africa even if you wanted to.
Well, to me, they take visa money when you go in and apply. They're more than happy to take your money and then just deny you. It's just a money-making scam for them.
Oh, yes, I agree with that 100%. Your application, every time you apply, they take the visa money. Your application is denied. Then they tell you can apply again. You go and apply again after a few weeks and it gets denied again. And the basis on their denial is absolutely absurd. The fact that you do have family in South Africa, but if you cannot prove that your daughter is your daughter, or you cannot prove that you own a house or own a business, there's no ways of you ever being granted a visa.
Wow. That's right. And if people do leave, they leave with a suitcase.
Yes, a small little suitcase, and they lie. They have to lie. Some are caught out and some are not. Those who are not caught out can claim refugee status as soon as they get into another country. Whether they'll be granted refugee status is another thing, but at least they are safe for a number of months. But those that get caught out are sent right back into this hellhole.
Yes, and well, I'm not even going to bring up that story because it'll make me cry. So, Leigh, what is your greatest need right now? I know money, U.S. money goes a long way in South Africa, doesn't it?
Oh yes, you know what? $20, $50, that feeds a family of four for 2 weeks. That makes such a huge difference. We've got so many houses to put up. One house is about 1,000. So it works out to about $1,500.
Wait. You can build a house for $1,500 US?
Yes, ma'am.
How big a house? How many people can live in that house?
You can put 2 parents and about 3 children in a house like that. They are 4 meters by 6 meters, and we can put 2 bedrooms and a front porch area. It's a cement floor, not bare soil like in the camps. It's a wooden house and insulated, in the roof insulated. We can build a house for $1,500 for each family.
That's a bargain. I don't know how far $1,500 could go in building materials here in the U.S. That's incredible.
Well, we've tried looking at building with bricks, and the materials, as you say, are very, very expensive. And we've got the most beautiful, inexpensive wood in South Africa, and we've sourced a wonderful couple that build these wooden houses, and we are staying in one at the moment, a tiny little house, and it's working out beautifully. It's safe, secure. Obviously, we insulate the inside with drywalling and sealing. and that will protect these families from the cold and the heat during the summer.
Well, that sounds like a huge improvement over the shacks that they've got at Muncieville.
Oh yes, the shacks are horrid. I mean, living in a corrugated iron shack in summer is I cannot explain to you the heat. It bakes down. You can't even breathe inside those shacks. And then in the winter, obviously, it absorbs all the cold. It is freezing
Yeah,
inside.
it's the worst of both worlds.
Yes, so with wood and insulated on the inside, you can regulate the temperatures much better.
And you
And
don't have a
yeah,
flood coming through. Muncieville still horrifies me. I mean,
oh,
you're there on a toxic dump, and every time it rains, there's hypodermic needles and trash and everything running
broken
through the
bottles,
place.
broken tins protruding from the soil. They cannot plant. They actually told them you may not plant crops. The municipality said this is for a temporary residence only, and you can be moved at any time. So yes, they've been there 3 years now, going on 3 years, and they know in the back of their minds that the municipality can come in at any moment and say, okay, pack up your stuff, we're going.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I think how many more farms if you had an unlimited amount of money, what could you do in South Africa? I mean, could you buy more farms? I mean, there's this threat that they're going to take all the land from whites?
Yes, there is, but I cannot sit back and think and say to myself, okay, well, I can't do anything because they're going to take our land. The best thing that we can do is we do acquire land and we fortify and secure it as best as we can. We have a security company that is absolutely amazing. The guys said they'll come in and teach the men for free, the women and the men, how to defend themselves, how to secure the property properly, how to look after all of us on this land. And we'll do that. This is going to be just a copy of the other projects that we want to do. We don't want to only have a farm project in Pretoria. We want to have one near Johannesburg, one near Durban, one near Cape Town, so that we can assist as many families. So this one, it has no other way but being a success. We are working so hard because we know that if this is a success, we can copy it in the rest of the country, and
Well,
we
Leigh,
can
my
try
hat
and
is
defend ourselves as a group.
my hat is
Big-
off to you that you had this vision. I remember when you had just started talking about wanting to do this, and you're doing it.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I'm adamant. If I've got, I don't know, if I've got something in my mind and I set my mind to it, I know a few months ago, more than a year ago, we were begging for donations to acquire the land. And eventually, this land became available and we jumped at the chance. And it's hard work, but it is so rewarding because every week we can see the progress that we are making, and I cannot wait to take in the first families. I think that that's going to be so amazing to put these houses up and put furniture in beds, make them beautiful, and go and rescue some of these families and say, there's your little house, and there's food, and there's a toilets, and there's a shower, hot showers, and a play area for the children that are safe, and give these parents better education and moral values. And I know not every single family will be successful, and that's the chance we take, but there are those that we can make a success out of.
Well,
And
you have people with such
hard we can.
well, people have such strong skill sets, and they're just cut off from working. I mean, to be able to put a man back to work, I mean, what that does for somebody's spirit.
It's amazing. And feeding that positive attitude to them. You see, we've already got 2 guys here, and they've changed so remarkably. They laugh and they smile and they are happy because I choose to be happy and show them that, yes, we are working hard and it's not funny work. This work is not fun.
No,
But
it's
at the end of the
backbreaking,
day,
tiring.
yes, but at the end of the day, we sit under the little car, like a gazebo carport thing that we put up, and we have a cold drink or we make a cup of coffee, and I tell the guys, look what you did today. This is absolutely awesome. I cannot wait for you guys to finish the next stage, and I cannot thank you enough. This is so amazing. If you put positive energy into these guys, they are so proud. You can see their chests move out, and they are really, really proud of the work that they have done. And so am I.
Well, I'm
It's so
proud of you.
amazing.
I mean, you've been the backbone of South Africa Family Relief Project for years now, and in the strength that you have and that you bring to these projects is remarkable.
I think I don't know. It's just I have to. I'm just a silly little housewife. I don't have the highest of educations. I went and studied to be hairdressing, but you know what? These are still my people. These are my people. Our children have a future, and we cannot, and I cannot just sit by and allow these families to just go under. And I don't know why other people can stand by and allow it.
Yeah,
I just made
that's
the
what you don't see.
decision
But you know, I
for this.
think your success will breed more success. And so again, I want to remind all our listeners to please make a donation. You hear what $1,500 can build a house in South Africa in Leigh's project here at the farm. I mean, that doesn't take a lot to put together. So please make a generous contribution. Can they do that on the Facebook page or just at South Africa Family Relief?
Only on the website. They can go to www.safrpsa.org. Go click on the Donate Now button. It will take you to PayPal where you can give a donation. Every single donation is so much appreciated. We need to get these houses up and fast. The sooner I can put toilets in the ablution block and showers, a play area. We've got everything. We just need to build. We've got the most beautiful toys and educational books, a jungle gym, a classroom. If we can just put some fencing around it to make sure that the little ones are safe during the day while the parents are working, and get these houses up and the bathrooms up, and a communal kitchen, that as soon as we've got that done, I can go and fetch families, and I cannot wait to do that.
That's going to be exciting. Well, what's going on in the camps? I know you have a school started.
Yes, we've started it's like a preschool, and parents are book in the children at the preschool, and that gives them the opportunity to know that their little children are safe, but also to go and look for work, if they can cut someone's lawn or clean someone's house, or get a little job to fix a roof. It gives them that little bit of more freedom to go and earn a bit of income during the day. Many do not find a little job, but then they beg at the intersection. I heard of a story, I think yesterday or the day before, of a man that stood by the side of the road. He had lost his job. He does own a house, and he does have a truck. And he was standing with a sign, and he said, I am not looking for money. I am not looking for anything else, but please take my CV. I lost my job. and I am desperately looking for work. And I'm thinking, if that man doesn't find employment soon, where are they going to end up in these camps? And it just breaks my heart.
Leigh, how many people do you estimate? I know there's so many people. I've seen you go into the bush and find people living out in the bush. How many
Yes.
How many Boers do you think are actually living in these camps?
Oh, it is so difficult to say. It's growing at an alarming rate, and I'm not involved in all these camps. And every single person or organization has a different number. But if I've got to give an estimate of what I think, I'm thinking that we are 4.5 million white South Africans in South Africa, and at least 1 million are living in abject poverty. Whether it be on a squatter camp or in a squatter camp, on someone's farm, at the back of someone's property, in a little shack, in the bush, in shelters. The shelters are bursting at the seams. So definitely at least 1 million.
That's a shocking number, Leigh. Absolutely shocking. That almost a 25% or of the white South Africans are in squatter camps. That's what you're saying.
That's
I mean,
what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
imagine if 25% of Nevada or 25% of Texas. It's about the South Africa's a large country, but I mean, it'd be like having 25% of the residents of Texas being in homeless camps.
Yes.
It's absolutely shocking. Absolutely.
That's what I estimated at. It's only what I think. I do not have actual proof
No,
of
we
what
know
I'm
it'd
saying,
be impossible.
but what I've seen in shelters, camps, on farms, and I believe it would be at least 1 million, because the people that I've seen, and we've been in so many of these camps and shelters, and it's just too many. And if you take in all the different provinces and the poor little towns out in the Free State, and I estimate it as at least 1 million, and that in itself is terrible. And the thing is, it's growing every single month. You have no idea how many times I am phoned during the day. Leigh, please, Leigh, where do we go? I've got nowhere to go with my family. And you phone around, please, can we help this family? And there's no space. There's just no space. Everybody says, Leigh, I'm so sorry we are full. I'm so sorry we are full. And I end up feeling as if I have let this family down, because I cannot help them. I can't do anything.
Oh my gosh, Leigh, you're one woman, and I know your husband's a great help to you, especially on the farm. Very handy,
Yes.
but you're only one person. How many?
Yeah, that's true.
Did you have a good visit with our friend Monica recently?
Oh, she's such a beautiful person. She baked us a bread, and you know what? I didn't have money for bread that day, and when she came and visited, she brought us a cornbread, and I was all teary because we didn't have any bread, and she brought bread, and those are the little miracles that we see every single day. So yes, I fail sometimes, and I fail some of the families, and it's heartbreaking. But then I see, a family or a camp doesn't have food, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I pray by myself, and I think, oh my gosh, God, please help us. I don't know what to do. And then 15 minutes later, somebody would phone me and say, Leigh, I've got a lot of tin food and veggies. Can you pick up from me? And I say, there's our miracle.
Well, my favorite miracle story, Leigh, was the day when you didn't have food for the camps, and then a company called and said that their food truck had broken down.
Yes, I remember that. That was amazing. And we fed actually several camps with that food.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was, and I don't know how you got it repackaged so fast. I mean, you folks
well,
are just a miracle workers.
I said to my family, you guys, you drop everything and we're going to repack this food immediately. So
That
yes,
was
that was a great
absolutely
day.
incredible. I always would talk to Karen about the God of Blood River, that you folks need another miracle. And I know just getting these camps going is a start, but there needs to be a big miracle. This God that saved the Boers at Blood River, really, we need to put our faith together and believe for a miracle like that again.
Well, I can tell you, I cannot do what I do without having my faith, because this is a thankless job. Sometimes I do break down and I feel, what on earth did I get myself into? But then especially on the farm, the first 2 weeks, I was like, oh my goodness. Then you realize the magnitude of work to be done, and you've got to make sure that you plan properly.
Well, this must make you feel like the original Boer pioneers, where they had
yes,
to
definitely.
clear the land, build a house, to do all that, raise the children all at once. It's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, but I think to myself that, if our Boer women and men that trekked over these mountains and the Magaliesberg mountains, and that, if they could do it, this is nothing for us. It took a week, 2 weeks, and we had a toilet and a shower because these guys worked so hard, and put it in for us so quickly. And we can do this. I am not a person to lie down. Yes, I have my down days, but I get up, I dust myself off, and I carry on, because we do not have any other choice. We have to.
Yep, it's that's not an option. So, well, Leigh, I'm just amazed by the work you're doing. So this farm is in Pretoria.
It's just outside of Pretoria. It's called Grootvlei, meaning.
I can't even say that. Say it 4 times, and maybe I'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, Grootvlei. It means a big ravine type of big stream of valley. And
the farm has water running through it?
Yes, we have a borehole. So we've got beautiful running water. We had to purchase a pump, and our generator broke down, so we had to go and buy a new generator because we were using a little old second-hand one. But we pump water into a 1,000-liter tank. We obviously are in desperate need of big tanks, so that we can make sure that everybody has enough water, and for irrigation of our veggies. But we're looking at a water saving irrigation system. It's a drip system where
drip system's the way to go.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. It saves on water, and we've had tremendous drought in South Africa. We've only recently had beautiful rains, but so the water, we want to save on the water. Even though we have a borehole, we want to make sure that our water that we use for our dishes and showering, we've put out a pipe that goes directly into the garden. I want to take a little bit of money and go and buy some grass so that we can put grass down and let it grow. And we reuse the shower and the water from the wash basin,
kitchen sinks. Yeah, that's a great way to water things, because the soap and stuff is actually very good for the plants. So
Yes.
that's a terrific way to go. Well, you know all those secrets. Your grandparents must have showed you all that.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's this is marvelously. I'm so glad you've got the farm started, but I know there's a lot of work to be done and it's going to take money. And again, I hope our visitors, I'll put this up on YouTube sometime this weekend, but I hope our listeners will be generous. And it doesn't matter whatever's generous for you and your condition, $5, $10, $100, whatever you can afford. I mean, Leigh is always grateful for the donations because
Any amount. People mustn't think that your $5 doesn't mean anything. $5 can buy bread and milk for a week. That means so much. And if more people donate, even if it's a small amount, we are truly grateful for every little bit of contribution that we do receive. We make it work, believe it or not. We make it work.
Oh, that's remarkable. You know, Leigh, I have to confess to you that I had a man who was born in South Africa and his parents moved back to Ireland. They were actually in northern Rhodesia. I think that's Zambia now, right? Zambia. Well, anyway, they saw the handwriting on the wall and moved back, as he says, to the old country, to Ireland. That's where he lives. His name is Brian. He was going to be on the show tonight because him and I are big on urine therapy. And I know I've talked to you about this before, but I think this would be such a boon, especially during summer months when water's scarce, for people to recycle their own water because it's so healing and natural. And I remember the first time I said it to you, you said, "Oh yeah, the Boer farmers used to know about that."
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's your body's own perfect medicine, and it would cut down on people's need for medicines, and people would be healthier. And I think it would be a great thing. And then you wouldn't need moisturizer for your skin. You just rub that in. I mean, it sounds disgusting, but it works like a charm. It's absolutely amazing. It's thousands of years old, and I think I should do some more work and have Brian help me put together a little booklet or pamphlet that we can send to you to share in the camps, maybe.
Well, Piet the other day burnt his hand, but not very badly, just mostly a part of his finger. And I don't have a medical aid kit. We desperately need to purchase a proper medical aid kit. I had nothing to help him. And I said to him, you know what? The best thing that you can do is go and pee on your hand.
Yeah.
And he looked at me as if I was mad. And I said to him, just do it. And it healed up so beautifully.
Yeah.
So, and he said, wow, he was so surprised. The pain went away.
That was dying from burns. He had like third-degree burns over so much of his body. And he was saying they didn't know what else to do for him. And finally someone said, oh yeah, the urine trick. They soaked rags in urine and then wrapped him in them and put plastic over it. And the next day his skin was like baby pink again, like he'd never been burned. It was like brand new skin.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you thought of that. That's great.
Well, that's all we got. That's all I can. Then I remembered that you said about the urine, and then I said, "Oh, no, go urinate on your hand." And he said the pain went away, and he was fine. He did it like twice more, and the next day, his skin was great. It was a little bit red, but other than that, he was perfectly fine.
Yeah, if he just had a little cloth to wrap that in or something. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. But in having the flu this week, if you folks had one day I was supposed to go help a friend move. And yes. I'm saying just moving from my bed to the kitchen was an effort. I go, how am I ever going to help someone move today? I feel terrible. And so I remembered what our friend, allegedly Dave Murphy said about just taking a little urine and putting it under your tongue. And just because that's real close to your lymph nodes, goes right down to your lymph nodes and stuff. And within 20 minutes, I felt like $1 million and went and helped her move all day.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. It's your body's own perfect medicine. And what's amazing is that when you rub it into your skin, you can't smell it. If you just let it set on there and let it dry, you'd smell it. But if you rub it in, because it's a very small nano molecule, it rubs right into your skin, and it's beneficial for you that way. And then your skin's never dry.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can even now. Brian says it's been years since he says he'll take a shower if he goes to the gym sometime, but the rest of the time he just takes a urine bath about twice a week, even washes his hair with it. You could save a lot of water in the camps doing this.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'll get some more information together for you, and we'll put it together because he wanted to help. That's I think he was born in South Africa or in Rhodesia. I'm not sure which. I think he said South Africa. So he's been back several times, and we'll put something together to popularize that for you. Because a woman, if you ever read Martha Christie's story, she was a woman that had enormous health problems. I mean, all kinds of cancers and health. Nothing was working, and her husband came home and said, "Well, there's one thing we haven't tried." And she said, "What's that?" And he said, "Urine therapy." And she just put her head back down. Well, several days later, she was so much sick. She says, "Well, give it a try." It turned her health around completely. She was out riding bikes with her children, living her life again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story. So we'll do something along that line. Well, listen, we're coming up on the end of the hour. And I just want to, Leigh, thank you so much for getting up at 3 this morning to make coffee and be here. And last time, some of those rains came. I'm glad you had some rain. I'm just sorry it was a thunderstorm that you couldn't get online and join me that night.
It was horrifying. It was so bad. The thunder and I tried, but no go.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. Well, you must have to charge your laptop on the generator.
Yes, I have to charge it on the generator.
Wow. I mean, you are well, that's one thing that the old Boers didn't have when they were settling the country. They didn't have laptops.
Yeah, yes. But for us, especially with the situation in South Africa, it is so important for me to always have my phone and the laptop charged and data on the phone because we need to connect with the outside world. If anything happens, at least, we can send out messages via Facebook, Skype, and tell everybody what's going on here because, as you know, there's like a media blackout. They don't report on farm murders and things like that in South African news. So, it's very important that we are in contact with the outside world.
Well, you're an amazing link to what's going on in South Africa, Leigh, and I admire you more than you'll ever know. And it's only fitting that the last episode of Sacred Cow Barbecue that you're here. So it's only fitting.
I'm so sorry to see you go. You're such a special person, and to me and Karen, and we really value every single show that you've done and every little bit of input, the books, the information that you send, your support has been so truly amazing, and it strengthens us as well. It gives us hope.
Well, Leigh, I have to say, even though I won't be here on the show anymore, I'll at least have a gainful job, and so I'll be able to help you build some of those houses. And I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be awesome. Well, Leigh, thank you so much, and stay strong, stay brave, and we'll get those houses built for you.
Thank you, and we wish you all the best of luck.